Alright, another boatload of new releases soon to drop if they haven't already dropped and selling yet. Let me know if there's something you're excited about, but I'm going to talk to you about a bunch of new fragrances that I'm looking forward to get my nose on, including a whole collection, brand new collection from the House of Balmain that I'm going to talk to you about. They just dropped their luxury collection. I've been reporting on Balmain. They are actually going to be distributed by Estee Lauder, and so soon we're going to see the fragrances everywhere at, luxury department stores and things like that. But I'm going to talk to you about the Balmain fragrances after the outro, but before the outro, you're going to find out about really great new fragrances that I'm excited to get my nose on. So find out what they are coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's Sebastian. I'm talking about new fragrances. Let me know if there's something you're excited about. Put a comment down below so we can all see what you're looking forward to. But let's get started with the first fragrance. Going to the House of Parfums de Marly. It's a brand spanking new one for the ladies. It's called Palatine. And Palatine features notes of pear, violet, musk, mandarin, bergamot, and sandalwood. So when was the last feminine targeted release? Was it... It was the white clear bottle one, right? That kind of sort of smells like the fragrance Fleur de Narcotique, I believe. I can't remember the name of that one. I kind of came and went. I actually did a review of it, but I'm looking forward to see what Palatine is all about and who created it. Is it a Quinton Biche creation again? We shall see. But if you have info on Palatine, let us know. But the next fragrance, going to the House of Ex Nihilo, one of my favorite fragrances from Ex Nihilo is called The Hedonist, and they are launching an Extrait version of it. I love The Hedonist. It does faintly hint at something like Tigar from Bulgari, but a totally different take on it. And an Extrait version of it sounds really, really exciting. It features ginger, grapefruit, lychee, Akigalawood, bergamot, amberwood, vetiver, tonka, patchouli, and cedar. Who's a fan of The Hedonist? Let me know. If you've gotten your nose on the Extrait version of The Hedonist, also let me know. I can't wait to get my nose on this one. This one sounds really, really exciting to me, and I'd like to find out what it's all about. But moving on to Cartier. Cartier has a new fragrance in the La Panthere collection called Elixir. So we've got Cartier doing elixirs now as well. This is featuring notes of Gardenia, musk, and jasmine. So Elixir version, I believe they already have a parfum, don't they? Yeah, I did a review of it. Wasn't it a Chypre? I think it was a Chypre, if I'm not mistaken with the collection, because I get Cartier feminine collections a bit mixed up. But yeah, this one sounds really great. I'm looking forward to it. And we'll see what they've done with La Panthere in the Elixir concentration. And then we've got Juliette Has a Gun X Vetiver. So they are making a vetiver fragrance in the style of Juliette Has a Gun fragrances. They do always tend to feature musky notes like Ambroxan in a lot of fragrances. And a vetiver is already a fairly masculine leaning note. So this... I'm not saying Juliette Has a Gun fragrances are feminine leaning, but I feel like they target a feminine demographic, even though I don't mind their fragrances. I enjoy some of them a lot. And I'm really curious to see what X Vetiver is all about by Juliette Has a Gun. Has it launched yet? I haven't seen it anywhere on my travels, but we shall see what it's all about once I get my nose on it. But Gucci Guilty Essence Pour Homme is launching. I just hope it's good. I'm tired of the Guilty series, by the way. I haven't been a big fan of the Guilty series until the Absolute that they did. Really enjoyed it. It was a very kind of a woody, earthy, animalic take on a men's fragrance. Kind of like old school, but what is Essence Pour Homme all about? We shall see. But the notes break down patchouli, cedar, orange blossom, neroli, lavender, coriander. Yeah, I want to get my nose on it and we'll see what it's all about. I'm curious, but the original DNA of the original Guilty for Men, Pour Homme, is not my favorite, so I'm not holding my breath on this one. But moving on to the next fragrance, it's Trudon. Are you guys familiar with Trudon's fragrances? Trudon is mostly about their candles, but I feel like they do some great fragrances as well. They have a new one called Absolu. This is cedar, tonka, guaiac wood, frankincense, iris, orange blossom, cardamom, mandarin, saffron. And I feel like Trudon fragrances are not necessarily very hyped, so nobody really talks about them. They're more of a luxury house, more focused on their candles. They have amazing candles, by the way. And the fragrances seem to be an afterthought mostly. But if you're a fan of the fragrances of Trudon, let me know. Put a comment down below so we can find out. But moving on to the next fragrance, we're talking about Parfums de Nicolai. Parfums de Nicolai has 3 new gourmand fragrances that they've launched together, and I got my nose on them during Essence, and 1 or 2 of them stood out. So I'd like to circle back and get my nose on these fragrances when I end up in Paris, and can get my nose on the fragrances, because I enjoy Parfums de Nicolai quite a bit. I don't see them doing gourmandish fragrances, so I don't know if this is typically their clientele, the gourmands, but we shall see. Gourmands are here to stay. They're very popular. They sell a lot, and these 3 are definitely the Parfums de Nicolai take on gourmands. So the first one is Macaron Bourbon. So it's bitter almonds, caramel, tonka beans, musk, vanilla, patchouli, cinnamon, cloves, rose, rum, and davana. That sounds absolutely delicious, doesn't it? I really, really love the idea of that one. But the next one is called Pavlova. Pavlova is vanilla, musk, passion fruit, pineapple, rum, coconut, peach, raspberry, cedar, sandalwood. And then finally, Saint Honoré, one of my favorite streets in the world. If you've ever been to Paris, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't and you're planning on going, make sure you walk up and down Saint Honoré. It's an amazing street. So it's Saint Honoré features notes of vanilla absolute, tonka beans, hazelnuts, milk, orange blossom, bergamot, pepper, musk, and then sandalwood. So these 3 sound great. I want to put my nose on them because I enjoyed 1 or 2 of them when I sampled them. We'll see. Have to wear them as well and experience them. But let me know your thoughts on these gourmand fragrances from Parfums de Nicolai. Next, going to the house of new notes. They have a new fragrance called Akigalawood Mandarino. So Akigalawood is a note that is used by Givaudan perfumers. So they have this brand has a fragrance called Akigalawood Mandarino. I like Akigalawood in fragrances, so I'm really, really curious to see what this one's all about. I love Mandarin orange, and Akigalawood is like a cleaned up patchouli, as a type of a patchouli from Givaudan. So it's a spruced up, cleaned up, and not rough at all. And I just really like the idea of this one. So this one is definitely something I really want to get my nose on. And the notes breakdown is Akigalawood, amber, mandarin orange, jasmine, lily of the valley, freesia, raspberry, and apples. So it's got the amber, it's got the Akigalawood, then it's citruses and floral notes and fruits. Sounds really fun and fresh and maybe sexy as well. We shall see. But the next fragrance, MCM, it's an underrated luxury goods house that not a lot of people talk about their fragrances. MCM has a new fragrance called Diamond. Diamond is created by Frank Volkel. It's oud for best, sandalwood, tonka, heliotrope plums, lavender, cappuccino, bergamot, juniper. It's a very strange notes breakdown, cappuccino and oud and, plums and lavender. So it's kind of interesting to see what they've done with this. And I enjoy some of Frank Volkel's fragrances. He's done some really good ones for Fleur, the House of Fleur, who did Father Figure, I believe he did that one. So this one sounds interesting to get my nose on it. We'll see how it is. But it's not a hyped brand. So if you're a fan of this house, let me know what your thoughts are. And if you've dismissed the fragrances because it didn't, smell great to you, let me know that as well. All right, so the next trio of fragrances are from the house of Obvious Parfums. Obvious Parfums fragrances are really, really great to me. They're not as expensive as some other brands are. They are also a bit more simplistic, but I feel like these 3 fragrances seem a bit more complex than the others. And the other ones focus on individual notes, so they make easy layering. Like you can layer the black pepper or the pepper one with rose. You can layer the vanilla with orange blossom. You can layer the musk with the bois. So really great collection of fragrances. They're simplistic on their own, but also to layer with. These 3 fragrances from Obvious are created by Julien Rascanet, and I'd like to get my nose on them, especially Frida's Thorns. The collection is called High Standards Collection, and Frida's Thorns features notes of patchouli, rose, dark chocolate, cacao, raspberry, pear, and vanilla. So that is the gourmand in the collection. Then we also have Himalayan Spell. This is cypriol, suede, saffron, black pepper, cedar, oud, leather, jasmine, and raspberry. So this seems like it's going to be a a raspberry fruity kind of a leather fragrance. That's what it seems like to me. Peppery and smoky as well. Whereas the first one seems like a chocolatey, rosy gourmand, which sounds really super delicious. And the last fragrance is Malfa Walls. Seems more on the smoky aromatic side with thyme, frankincense, mandarin, Sicilian orange, leather, oud, blackcurrant, sage, and juniper. For me, the Frida's one sounds the best. I think the gourmand, chocolate, rose, patchouli combo sounds really, really great to me. And again, hopefully I'll get my nose on these very soon and I'll report back on them. But moving on to the next fragrance, it's Tom Ford's Soleil Neige Parfum. So I think now Estee Lauder, Tom Ford has found another way to, get people excited about the brand and to, end up buying fragrances. So they are launching a Parfum edition of one of the most popular fragrances from the Tom Ford collection called Soleil Neige. So in the Soleil collection, there's like 4 of them, and Soleil Neige is the most popular. So they have launched a Parfum edition. I'd like to really, really get my nose on this one because I'm a late discover of Soleil Neige. I find it to be super delicious, and a Parfum version of it sounds really, really great. It's orange blossom, carrot seeds, jasmine, bergamot, vanilla, woodsy notes, and rose. What do you think about this one? Does it sound great to you? Do let me know. And then moving on to the House of Ormonde Jane. This one I was really, really excited about. Sadly, I didn't get my nose on it, unfortunately, while I was in London. This is a Harrods exclusive. It's called Patchouli de Atlas. I'm a big patchouli lover, if you don't know that already, but this one sounds great to me. It's Akigalawood, patchouli, cashmeran, saffron, pink pepper, cardamom, cedar, amber, sandalwood, musk, and lemon. If you've sampled this one, do let me know. Again, I can't believe I missed out on it. But there's another fragrance from Ormonde Jane called Cashmere, which I did get to sample because I went to the Ormonde Jane boutique in London and I wanted to sample the patchouli there and they didn't have it. So Cashmere is another new one that's just launched along with another more fruity one. The Cashmere one I actually wore and I really enjoyed. It's sandalwood, cashmeran, patchouli, pink pepper, coriander, vanilla, benzoin, cardamom, saffron, frankincense, myrrh, musk, cedar, jasmine, and iris. There's a bunch more notes in addition to that because they do list a lot of notes. For me, the House of Ormonde Jane doesn't experience, you don't experience fragrances like really loudly, but Cashmere, great longevity. I really loved Cashmere. And of course, I really love Vanitas Afrique as well. I felt like it's great. Once again, not a beast mode loud fragrance, but great longevity. And it's the kind of fragrance, like a vanilla fragrance you can wear in in the warm kind of humid weather. That's when the fragrance really comes alive, I think. So those are the kind of fragrances if you want something a bit more substantial notes to wear when it's hot outside. I think Ormonde Jane is the brand to go with. Even in their kind of like fragrances that are made with deeper, more intense notes, do wear a bit more discreet, and that's what I like about the house if I ever want something like that. But they do have some really great fragrances. Cashmere is definitely one of them. And it's a bummer I didn't get to sample Patchouli de Atlas, but hopefully I will get my nose on it very soon. But let me know your thoughts on these new fragrances that have just launched or are launching very soon. Is there something that you like that you heard about? Put a comment down below so I can find out. And don't forget to stick around for the Balmain fragrances, the Les Eternals collection that just launched from the House of Balmain. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. So as promised, Balmain has just launched a new collection of luxury fragrances under Estee Lauder. So the Estee Lauder deal happened, I think, around 2021, maybe 2022, after Estee Lauder dropped the houses Donna Karan and a few other brands they got dropped. But then I've also read that Balmain had a licensing deal with the Estee Lauder conglomerate, and they were working on their fragrances. Finally, the fragrances have launched. It's called the Les Eternals collection. I don't know who is going to get these fragrances in the States, but I think they're going to roll them out at places, various places, and I can't wait to get my nose on these fragrances. There are a few fragrances I feel like they've redone that are classics from the house. I was hoping that they would do Monsieur Balmain, but they haven't done that one. That one's one of the ones that I own, still have a couple of backup bottles of. I love it. It's a lemony fresh fragrance. But I've also worn Carbone. Carbone is a great fragrance that was created by Nathalie Lorson, but it's been redone now. But the first fragrance is called Blue Infini. It features notes of Akigalawood, Cistus Absolute, Clary Sage, Lichen, Oak Moss Absolute, and Pink Pepper. I don't know how these fragrances are going to wear, and I'm not certain if Blue Infini is a remake or a redo of something in the past, but I think, again, really something that I need to sample and report back to you guys on. But what do you think about the bottles of Balmain fragrances? Do they look good to you? Are they something that I'm having a bit of a challenging time with the bottles? I don't know if I really love them or hate them, but they do kind of sort of pay tribute to their classic bottles. I remember them being very square. The next fragrance is called Bronze. It's featuring notes of black pepper, cedar, hay, jasmine, patchouli, and tobacco. Love anything with tobacco. Tobacco, boozy notes, really love those notes. And of course, patchouli, vanilla, really love those notes as well. So ambers. This Bronze sounds really, really great. Looks like Carbone is redone. It's cumin, patchouli, rose, sandalwood, suede, white musk. This doesn't sound like it's going to be similar to the other, but sometimes they use different notes to create something similar. So we shall see. But then again, Carbone was selling, like I bought my bottle of Carbone early on in my journey, somewhere around 2012, for around $45. I don't have it, unfortunately. I ran out. But now the fragrances are going to be like over $300. I can't remember the exact price they're going to be charging in the States, but for sure, these are more luxury takes on a collection of fragrances. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Ebene. I believe this is another fragrance that's been brought back. It's Atlas Cedar, Ebony, Myrrh, Tobacco, Frankincense, Vanilla, Cinnamon, and Geranium. So this fragrance does remind me a little bit of Tom Ford's Ebene Fumé. A little bit, maybe even Myrrh Mystère. I don't know, but we shall see. I don't remember a lot of the fragrances from Balmain, the classic ones, as far as smells go. Like, I know the names of the fragrances, like the next one, Ivoire, very classic fragrance. How does it smell? How does it compare to the original? So this is grapefruit, orange blossom, suede, tuberose, turmeric, and vetiver. So it's a new take on the classic Ivoire, which I know a lot of folks, enjoy this one and consider it one of the best fragrances that was ever made. And they're modernizing the fragrances, and unfortunately they're keeping the name the same because they're familiar. So somebody will go in and say, oh, I used to wear a fragrance called Ivoire. Do you have it? Oh, we have it now. This isn't nothing like Ivoire, but we shall see. I'll have to get my nose on them. But the next fragrance I'm talking about is called Rouge. Rouge is featuring notes of lily, Georgie wood, Morea ciliata, osmanthus flower, ylang ylang, magnolia flower. This seems like a floral bomb with woodsy notes and things like that. Georgie wood is kind of appearing in fragrances quite a bit lately, and I've never smelled it on its own, so I'd like to find out what it smells like. But definitely something woody, maybe a bit ambery as well. But again, this is a nice red looking bottle, but I'm just uncertain about the bottles themselves. I don't find them to be super sexy. What are your thoughts on these bottles? The next fragrance is called Sel d'Ambre. It's amber, ambergris, olibanum, Rucari tea accord, amber 83, orris accord. So this one seems just like an amber, but it's more like a salty amber, Sel d'Ambre, and it has amber and ambergris along with some incensey notes and things like that. Of course, the tea. So I'd like to find out what these are all about and let you know, report back to you guys on them. But this one does sound really great to me. I love an amber, a great amber, and a salty amber sounds really fun. But there's no mention of a salt in the notes, but then again, they have ambergris listed. I'm not sure if they're using real ambergris or is it an ambergris accord. And of course, ambergris has a saltiness to it, so maybe that's where they're getting the ambergris. They don't mention ambergris accord, they mention orris accord, but ambergris is very expensive, so are they using the real stuff or is it an accord that they've created? And then finally, the last fragrance is Vent Vert. This is a fragrance that I wish I had a bottle of. I wish I had a bottle of the classic version. Does it smell like the classic version? I don't know, but I really, really want to sample this one. But it's Vert de Mandarin, Jasmine, Blackcurrant, Galbanumescence, Calypsone, and Soft Musks. So basically, they're bringing back a lot of their fragrances in a more luxury form. Let's see how much they remind us of the originals or how different they are going to be. And concentration-wise, I believe these are all eau de parfum, highly priced, very expensive luxury fragrances from the House of Balmain. There's probably going to be one or two that I really enjoyed. We shall see. But as soon as I get my nose on these, hopefully very, very soon, I will report on them. I will let you guys all know. But if you've gotten your nose on these fragrances, do let us know. Put a comment down below. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.